Starting off here, I've set my color over here to red. You can watch some of the other videos which go into how to do that pretty extensively from other people. I'm not going to really get into that myself, but I'm going to get in to show you some of the things I think are cool about it. Right now I have a Kansas and Stevie in, and I'm going to show you how easy that is to play music. You can set it up to have people in the back of your car watch movies, and as you can see, this is pretty cool, but if I want to come over here, I can skip into the middle of the song. Getting a little bit of reflection there. Now we're going to take CDs, and here's a Christmas CD from Harry Connick Jr. Sorry, I can't run the camera and do stuff with my other hand at the same time and keep it completely straight. I don't have a tripod here, so... But anyway, you can see how easy that is, and you can switch what track you're doing here. Now, one thing I would add is, this is playing a regular CD that you purchased, but for MP3s, Pioneer has a really cool technology where they go in and on normal MP3s, you lose about 3/4 of the mid-range to high range for the compression. So what actually artificially puts that back in, so you get a lot fuller sound with this stereo. If I want to make a phone call, it's really cool. I can look up people on my address book, and I can have it alphabetically listed and go through and find people. And once you make a call, then you can go back here and it'll remember all the calls that you made, and it will go back to them. There's a way to set up your favorites, but I haven't quite figured out how to do that yet. If you go into here, I've got an SD card that I put in here. It has 16 gigabytes of songs on it, and I'll show you that real quick here. Let's go back to here. You can change really quickly to SD. Okay, it's waiting for a minute. While I'm waiting for that, I purchased the remote control separate for this. It doesn't work as good as you would think it would, but it works okay when I'm driving. I don't want to have to be able to change out things. I can go up and down from the songs I want to by pushing here and change tracks back and forth here. So it's pretty handy that way. So here's Phantom of the Opera that I've got on here. I have like 150 albums on this, and I can come into here and see how it's got all my, if I click over here, you can see all my songs. Right here, this is the Phantom of the Opera, but I just have 150 CDs going up here. This is just a sample of it. Okay, we'll go back. And you can pause when you're driving, just like that. So it's pretty handy that way. One thing I don't like about it is, see this here, over here? One thing that's negative about this is, see how small the time is? So you say, okay, well they do have one way to make it so it shows the time, and that's if you go into here. These are all the different animated backgrounds that you can put. But so I can pick this one to show the time. But, you know, time is really a basic function. I should be able to have this time display over any one of these others. And if I want to have the time, then I'm stuck with this world. To work, I want to know what time it is. I want to know how long do I have till I get to work. And I don't want to have that world there all the time. I want to be able to have the time going over the top of some of these other functions. So I should be able to say I want to display time or not display time, and not just have it be one of the screens. So the only way I can have the time displayed here is if I pick this one screen. I can't have it over these others, which is a negative about the stereo. I displayed for this, you go in here and you can turn it on. Let's go down here and do that. Now if we go back to here, we'll go back up to radio, for example. Okay. Radio is interesting. If you want to change the stations, it'll show what songs are playing for some of the stations, and it'll automatically set up the channels down here. But let's get back to here. I wanted to show you the rear view camera, which is kind of cool. See how I can see for backing up? You have to calibrate it. You can go into here by holding this down, and you can calibrate it. Okay, now I'm gonna... This is the volume control over here on the top. But that's just a few of the things that I think are interesting. So you've got all this functionality here, and I showed you the SD card. You've got auxiliary, which I can't figure out how to get to work right now. You've got the disc, which I showed you. Right now I have a CD in here. You have the camera and the radio. So it's got a lot of cool functionality. It's a nice stereo. So anyway, that's a quick rundown of this. I think I covered the basics of it. Oh, I wanted to show you this. This device here, I've got to show you with one finger because if you look at this, this is an SD card holder. That it's a USB. Really important for this stereo because that way you can use two SD cards or use one SD cards and plug them in. And this stereo does have this functionality. Ouch. Oh, sorry about that. That got away from me. I can't. There we go. So you can see how that. Now there it goes. See, it recognizes the USB. Now on this particular one, I have got nothing but movies, and so you can go in and you can put stuff like on this particular one. I put shows that I recorded on Windows Media Center, and you have to convert it to AVI using some software. But once you do that, then you can watch the movies on here, which is kind of nice. So I'm just I'm switching back. So we're actually reading this USB drive here. Okay, so we're just waiting. Oh, there we go. Now we need to go back and turn that off so that it will do that. So we can come over here and turn that off now. Actually, you can get the cameras for like $28, and I recommend having the stereo professionally installed because they will do things like this that make like this is the microphone for when you're talking on the phone. They'll do that professionally so that everything looks really good and you don't have any wires sticking out and everything works. So you can find installers in your area. I found mine on Craigslist, but it would cost around it's around $100 or so to get that professionally installed. But it took the guy 2.5 hours to do it, so I think to me it was well worth the time. Now we're just waiting for this to still read this. So you can see that that's the SD card, but I have a cover so that it doesn't look so ugly. So it actually looks like that. So I'd highly recommend getting one of these devices, and also they have extension cables that usually come with them, so if you don't want to have it sitting right on your stereo, it can hang down. I don't really care, but you can do it either way. Now it's got quite a bit of information on there, so it's taking a minute to read it. So but what I like about this stereo, that the reason why I got this instead of one that goes all the way across, is I like having these two things here in the front. Plus there's an auxiliary port that's being blocked that you can't see, that's right down here, that's real handy. Well, anyway, it's not showing up, so I'm going to probably stop this, but it does have videos that I've recorded, and it remembers where you're at if you want to stop. Like on my lunch hour, I do this. Oh, one more thing, final thing on this stereo. You can't watch this without the car running, because if you do, the stereo takes so much power that your battery will run down and you probably won't be able to start your car. So just remember that.